Welcome to Softcore History.
Hello and welcome to Softcore History. My name's Jake Goldman. It is our official 2-year anniversary episode.
I forgot to Google what the 2-year anniversary is.
I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, please look it up because I want to know what I forgot to get you as gifts.
It is, let's see here. Cotton.
Cotton, huh?
Yeah, I feel like it's probably good you skip that one.
Yeah.
Just get us canceled right off the bat.
Yeah, probably would have made questionable jokes, especially since I have an empty stomach and like 5 beers in me already. So.
What is that based off?
Some
I don't fucking
Hallmark?
know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
know
know.
the third
What
year.
did you Google?
What is second year anniversary gift?
So if I'm dating a girl for 2 years,
No, married.
if I'm
It's a
married to a girl
marriage
for
thing.
2
And we
years,
are audiolistically married. We are married.
We're common
through
law.
sound.
Common law.
yeah, but we've
audio.
done this longer than 2 years.
Yeah, but I mean that was just dating and foreplay.
We were just kind of fucking around.
Everyone
Yeah,
knows.
yeah, yeah.
Everyone knows the foreplay to a history humor podcast is a college
Shitty
football
podcast.
and
a comedy album.
a comedy
bad comedy album, and then
And-
before that, just kind of errantly filling in with each other on a frat podcast.
Reliving our glory days, yeah.
Yeah, which we really still do half the time now.
R.I.P. Otto.
I mean, we did get Otto.
We got him back.
We got Otto back, but just not in the condition.
We manifested
planned.
wrong.
Yeah,
We
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
We weren't specific enough.
the North Koreans did not see the word fragile on him. You know what I mean? It was the package was not handled with care.
We had a nice little run-in with Ric Flair.
That was nice is about the nicest way you could put that.
You guys were like early on the Luke Combs beat, I believe.
Yeah.
We had
yes.
Luke Combs on before he was famous, and
No one knew who Luke Combs was.
At one point, we had the most popular YouTube video of him acoustically singing "Hurricane,"
Yeah,
which
had
was
the
his
most
first
listens.
like top 40
That was
hit.
clearly big for us.
Huge.
It was
Saved
not
the
Made me a
website,
ton
yeah.
of money.
Yeah, really glad Luke became a mega sensation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I saw him in 2018 at the Players Championship. He was on 17, dunked it in the water, got booed.
Trash.
Yeah.
Luke Combs did?
Yeah.
Really?
And then he played like a set after or something.
Yeah. I mean, he's going full John Daly, knowing Luke. You know what I mean? Like he probably had about 30 camo bushes before that round, and then did whatever he needed to do, which was nothing.
Yeah.
Just go out there and swing a club at a ball. Doesn't really matter where the ball goes. Doesn't really matter how well the club even touches it, if it touches it at all.
No, celebrity golf appearances, like,
Yeah.
unless you're out there trying to win money.
People were there to watch Luke Combs potentially like vomit into a hole.
Right.
Not sink a 30-footer.
Same day, I went on a miniaturized version of 17, and I almost killed like a volunteer.
How'd you almost kill a volunteer?
I went real long.
Just soared the green.
I almost smoked
So
this
is this a
dude.
par 3 version of 17, or did you just take a driver
17
to
is par
a
3.
putt range?
No, 17 is par 3, but they miniaturized it for like a chip and putt.
Oh, okay.
And I went long.
Should just.
There's
played the
actually a
real
video.
hole.
Dave Ruff took a video of it.
Oh.
It actually kind of went mini viral.
Went micro-vi.
Yeah, it was like 500K views of me almost murdering some poor volunteer.
I think that's viral. I think
500K's.
500. I think
Pretty
half
high.
a mil's vi.
Yeah, we used to do numbies.
Yeah.
We still kind of do.
Every now and then.
But fuck all that shit.
Yeah.
Fuck history.
Yeah, actually.
Let's talk about history.
Or no. Let's just. You know what?
Yeah, the history of us.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about us. So it all starts in. Well, who does it start for where?
Yeah.
Well, we met.
It was the night of my parents' wedding when things first began.
Me and Jake actually met before we knew it, like back in the Florida Georgia game our
Yes.
senior year.
This is a story that if you're an avid listener, you probably remember. But if you're not,
As a UCF student, Dan was dealing ecstasy to Jake's fraternity.
in a
On the-
train car,
Yeah, they're right on the railroad tracks.
it was literally across the tracks. Like, there was a tailgate right by some abandoned train cars in Jacksonville for the Florida Georgia game. Pretty sure a lot of people are going up in there, doing gross things up in there in the train car.
I think you did some gross things up in that train car.
I did not hook up with anyone that weekend.
Okay. That's sad.
Okay. Still could have done gross things in a train car.
Yeah, I guess I could have just gone
Yeah.
solo.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Pull a hobo
necessarily
move.
mean I
It's
was
a train
implying that you're hooking up.
Oh, you think I took a poop in there?
You could have.
Could have pooped.
I didn't know you at that time.
That's true. If anyone's pooping in there, it's probably you.
It was a crank and stank.
A crank and stank.
Yeah.
Ew. Ew. Hopefully you crank before you stank.
Well, you do it at the same time.
Both ends.
Yeah.
I mean, when I lost my virginity, I had to take a poop break.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well,
It's when,
really,
it's when the crunch was real bad.
really, I think what your body was doing was saying, "Hey, she's not going to do it for you, so I'm going to work that state."
Did you have to use my favorite Incubus lyrics from this past weekend? Pardon me.
While I burst.
into flames.
You know, it was a fiery asshole.
Yeah, I was
Look, it could be worse. When I lost my virginity, I had to go get her some gum because she had vomited. I had vomited as well.
this is horrible.
And I couldn't find any gum, but I did find a Now and Later. And
Ugh. The stickiest candy. The stickiest candy.
well, it worked.
And it was in Delaware, so that's where I was this weekend.
Oh yeah, you're in
Kinda
Delaware.
It was actually a
Full
limited
circle.
liability virginity loss.
What?
I don't know. I
Well,
was trying
yeah,
to make a
it's a
corporation
tax
joke.
haven
Yeah.
for corporations. Every corporation's in Delaware.
Oh, right. Yes,
Right.
yes.
Wilmington's a
It's
beautiful
weird
city.
that you lost your virginity there, actually, because people show up there to not lose anything.
Exactly.
They keep things. They go to Delaware.
Mm-hmm. They get tax breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you were up there for a golf tournament?
Yeah, I went to the BMW with my dad.
Did you have fun?
He lost his virginity this weekend at the BMW with his dad.
Your dad cheering you on.
He was
Dan.
right behind 15.
Dan. Love it.
It was big for me.
Yeah. So Katie was out of town this past weekend and
Bachelor weekend.
I slept most of it, honestly. I went out like Friday
Another
night.
crank and stank.
No. Just a lot of stanks, really. Just a lot of dumps, man. I went out with my buddies on like Friday night and pretty much just made myself tired the rest of the weekend from that.
Yeah.
So
I just flew back today. I'm a little,
Oh, good. We're all low energy this week.
No,
I feel
I'm
great.
I'm
I'm good to
so
go.
tired that I have energy.
Yeah,
So you're
he's
like,
if that
so
makes
happy.
sense.
I've been drinking on an empty stomach because A, I expected us to have like a big meal for this. We won't get into that.
No.
And then B, I expected my current Uber Eats basically Uber Eats has been fucking me over all day. I expected my current Uber Eats
Not a
meal to show
sponsor.
up fucking 40 minutes ago.
So are they still
Never
on the
will
way?
be a sponsor.
They're on the way. I'm gonna have Joel go pick it up outside.
So we're going to get food halfway through this episode?
So I'm gonna get food halfway through this
Oh.
episode.
I mean, he leaves half the time to get beers anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
And yeah, I am gonna eat a spicy chicken sandwich live on air.
Yeah, please just munch into the mic.
I'm going to.
So I watched the worst movie to ever watch hungover, The Card Counter. Have you heard of The Card Counter?
No, let's move on.
No, I'm telling you about this movie because I sat through it, and it is so fucking bad.
I tried to watch The Wrath of Men with my parents last night. It was a Jason Statham, Guy Ritchie movie, little joint.
Oh, Guy Ritchie joint?
Pretty fucking terrible.
It wasn't as bad as The Card Counter.
I'm sure it was.
No, I can guarantee you it is not.
I've lived with Jake for a while, and no one watches worse movies than Jake does.
Jake has terrible taste, yes.
It's not that I have terrible taste.
He's just willing to try
I
anything.
will watch anything you put out
Mister,
there.
I won't do a crank and stank. You should see what he fucking puts on Netflix.
Yeah, you don't have standard shit.
Like whatever, like it is. It's like living with Jake is like watching a fucking your TV just run through the bottom of the Walmart dollar DVD bin.
It really is. No, but it's like, see, The Card Counter, it has Oscar Isaac in it and like Ty Sheridan, and it's like executive produced by Martin Scorsese.
Also, Tiffany Haddish is in it.
Yeah.
My wife tried to watch an
Okay.
episode, and I was like, "Turn this off."
It wasn't an
executive produced means nothing.
I know.
Yeah.
It means you'd think Martin Scorsese at least throw some money at something he liked. No. It is a movie about a guy who's like a professional poker player, but also, just happened to be one of the main people in Abu Ghraib. So as far as like,
I really hope this is a transition into the topic.
it's not.
Well,
It's
Abu
not.
Ghraib is a part of history.
Yeah, it's too early though. It's 2003.
Oh, my neighbor gave me that camera right there behind Rob. this weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Was it
nice
from
little
Abu Ghraib?
What if this is
Polaroid.
actually? What if that's like a true crime camera and there's just like horrifying pictures on it that you don't realize? Like you find a roll of film in there.
It's just all the old BTK photos they couldn't find.
Yeah, it's just like kids' body parts.
Yeah, he's
like,
87. He
nailed
said his
to a
dad
wall.
bought it, so I don't know how old that camera, like 50s or 60s.
Jeez.
That
Yeah.
looks 60s to 70s to me. If I had to guess,
Okay.
I'm gonna go 60s.
It looks timeless to me.
So we got a nice little set deck
I
piece.
did watch Prey, though. Prey was awesome.
Prey's great, right?
Prey was awesome. Yeah.
All right. Do you agree with my... It's a little bit of a hot take. Is it the best Predator movie?
It's the only one I truly enjoyed.
Yeah, right? It's
yeah, like,
awesome.
The original Predator's fine.
Did you watch it as a kid?
I
I
watched
Predator. I mean,
Not really, no. I
Yeah,
watched it as
was
like an
more,
adult.
It's more recent than
if you
childhood.
watched it as like a 11-year-old, you would probably like it a lot better.
Yeah.
I just liked the whole concept of like Native Americans dealing with the Predator.
And just getting smoked for the majority of the movie.
Okay, first off,
It's just a smoke fest.
stealing valor because there was a Native American in Dutch's unit in the original Predator.
How's it stealing valor?
Because it's just they're not the first Native Americans to fight the Predator.
The Brody one's good.
The
I'll
what?
give you that. The Adrian Brody one.
Predators is a good movie.
I
I
haven't
would
seen
say.
Predators though. I haven't seen that. Anyway, all that aside, we do have a topic.
Also,
to
in
talk about.
Predator 2, at one point, a pimp with a cane sword fights a predator in an alley. So
I
let's
did
not-
forget about that.
Yeah,
With
Yeah.
a cane sword. I don't think he does well then.
he does, and no, he loses. Again, though, I said this earlier. I want to watch a Predator movie where the Predator just wins.
Yeah.
He does kind of
They
win.
keep
in
taking L's.
Yeah, like in Predator 2, they do actually kind of win.
They beat Alien too, right?
Well, they always beat the aliens. The
Yeah.
aliens are the bad guys in both those. But yeah,
How's that? You know, how is that really? Like,
they're just trying to live. They're mindless animals trying to stay alive.
Alien.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the xenomorphs. They're called xenomorphs.
Oh, right.
Well, actually, in Prey, the real villain is the French.
Fair. They're the real predators.
It is a big old statement on colonialism. Yeah. Speaking of, this is a perfect segue.
All right, we did it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Republic of West Florida today. So, for a lot of people, if you aren't aware, you should be. I'm from Florida. It's my home state.
I identify more
You
as
are
a
a
Floridian.
You count. We count you now.
So as weird as you are from Philadelphia, but I think of you as from Florida. Jared Borislow is from Florida, but I think of him as from Wisconsin because he looks like he's from Wisconsin.
Yes.
We're going to have a fun side note about Wisconsinites or Wisconsinians.
He left Tampa to go to the Midwest for college.
But he looks Midwestern.
Right.
He should be in the Midwest.
Although he's in a movie that was filmed in Florida.
Yeah, the Dolphin. Was it Flipper 2?
I think it's Dolphin Tale.
Dolphin
He's
Tales
in
2.
he's-
It was a sequel, I believe, actually.
Yeah. But he's like a featured extra in Dolphin Tale 2 or whatever.
How?
I don't know. You just
Anyway.
see him clapping. Like fucking Jason Garrett on the sidelines for the Cowboys.
Oh, man. All right. So,
Similar look.
Very.
West Florida, for a lot of you that don't know, Florida used to be bigger.
Hold on, I have something important to say.
Okay.
Hey, Joel, my Chick-fil-A is here. Can you go outside and get it? Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You should take a tax for
This
that
is-
Chick-fil-A.
Joel, you should take a bite out of it.
What, do you give a nug?
I guarantee you that it's that car that's up parking lot right now.
Yeah, probably.
It's always one over.
It's
Yeah.
always, they always fuck it up.
How could they not? This is a hard place to get to.
I guess. No, it is.
It's a hard turn.
It is.
You don't
I'm gonna
expect
die.
it.
I'm gonna die today.
Oh,
leaving.
If there's a day to die on the road into here,
It's
this
wet.
one.
It's terrible. Yeah.
So yeah, Florida though used to be a lot. What people considered Florida used to be a lot longer. So imagine like what Florida looks like now, and then just stretch out its dick. Not its dick. I guess it's
Panhandle.
the Panhandle. Yeah,
You used to take up like the whole Gulf Coast.
pretty much until about New Orleans is where
Yeah,
it
the
stopped.
French cut their.
Well,
So-
also at the bottom too, it kind of just fell into the ocean, right, with Atlantis.
If that's where you think Atlantis is, yeah. Key West is actually just the mountaintop of what used to be Atlantis.
It's in
Yeah.
the Bahamas, right?
Yeah, so before 1762, France had actually owned and administered the land west of the Perdido River and east of New Orleans and the Mississippi as part of one thing called La Louisiane.
La Louisiane.
La Louisiane.
These are
So-
dirty, dirty
La
people.
Louisiane. Is there an E at the end?
Yes.
Then you pronounce the end.
We do not really go into detail how dirty the French were back then.
Filthy people. A filthy people. Well, also New
Everyone
Orleans
was kind of filthy.
New Orleans was France.
More so, though.
New Orleans was France's Australia. People
It
don't
was
know
a
that.
penal colony?
Yeah, people don't know that.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
These
yeah.
are fur trappers.
Well, yeah, I guess it was an island. New Orleans is an island in a way.
Yeah. And but it was also just, even if it wasn't, like, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like Louisiana, but more so New Orleans because that was, like, just the main hub. They just sent all their pieces of shit there.
That's how the Lolleries got there, I
Yeah.
guess. Anyway, yeah. So for those that don't know, the Perdido River is currently where like the border of Alabama and Florida are. So imagine that little sliver of Alabama, that little sliver of Mississippi.
Yeah, it's fine.
Rob will never get his food.
Rob's never getting the food. And we're never getting the sponsorship from
Yep.
Uber Eats.
Yeah, my driver can't find where the fuck we are because they're fucking. I mean, look, that's why you work for Uber Eats. I don't want to be like a classist asshole here, but like,
you're
this
going
guy's
to be.
This guy's a piece of fucking shit, and this whole app is a piece of fucking
Hey,
shit.
drag him.
Let's drag
Fuck.
What's
that.
his name? Fuck it. Pull it up.
It's Craig,
Oh, Craig.
Well, you should never trust a man named Craig.
and he looks exactly as directionally satisfactory as I assumed.
Craig's never going to satisfy anything.
Anyway, the reason this is important that they owned and administered that land, France, is because in 1762, France signed a secret treaty with Spain that, upon being revealed in 1764, had effectively ceded all French lands west of the Mississippi River, plus the islands of New Orleans, to Spain. This was done in secret. It caused a huge fucking problem with West Florida during the Louisiana Purchase.
Yeah, Florida, prior to America officially getting it, was Florida and Oregon almost started a couple wars.
Oh, yeah. It's it. Florida, I'm about to reveal to you that Florida might be the most influential fucking piece of property in the United States for why we're important.
Like, it feels like you're just kind of jacking yourself off.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm doing today. I'm sorry. It's a 2-year anniversary episode, and it landed on me. It's going to be me jacking off Florida.
I love that. That's
Yeah. So,
Would have been the same thing with me.
yeah, you would have been talking about Dulco.
No. I would have been talking about Florida.
Oh, probably.
As we said, I identify as a Floridian.
So now I'm going to put you through the research I had to do to figure out who actually owned this fucking piece of shit in one paragraph. So get ready for
Who
this.
actually owned Florida?
Who actually owned West Florida? Yes.
And what is West Florida exactly? Is it beyond Destin, fucking Panama City?
Yes. So it's basically, again, it's the space between the Perdidos River and the
yes,
Mississippi
that
River. The Perdidos River is the
The
natural river
space
border between
between-
Florida and Alabama.
Okay.
That creates that sliver
Okay.
of Alabama and Mississippi.
So the Mississippi River, that is like half of Louisiana. That's like the boot of the toes of Louisiana.
Yeah.
And then the Gulf Coast, Alabama, fucking Mississippi.
Yeah. So West Florida was pretty much the easternmost provinces in the boot of Louisiana.
Okay,
all the
Joel,
way.
I think they're here again.
Oh, my God.
The Chick-fil-A is finally here. Welcome to. We're going back to normal. We're going back to our roots here.
So keep in mind, there's a secret agreement with Spain that France will give them this shit. Hey, you can have it.
Yeah.
So at the end of the 7 Years' War in 1763, France ceded its remaining lands east of the Mississippi River, which included, again, the West Florida regions between the Perdido and Mississippi rivers, to Great Britain, while Spain also ceded its Florida territory to Britain.
All right. Well, this kind of just sounds like signing a contract on a napkin.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all
all
it is.
nonsense.
It's all it is.
Oh, no. He finally got his food.
Okay, well, I'm going to make him sit through this, so you get your
Please.
snacks.
Please do not munch into the mic.
What?
You're a piece of
Go
shit.
on. I'm fine.
Rob's literally just crumbling
No,
with
guys,
that.
Yeah, no,
effort.
they can hear, Jake. They have
No,
ears.
but they need to know that he's not even pulling food out of the fucking thing. He's just holding it closed.
The video people know. The audio are like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Anyway,
We just lost half our audience for like the rest of eternity now.
Look, this is the 2-year show. I'm drunk. I don't give a fuck.
okay. So here's the big old drunken napkin colony trade off over like 40 years, basically. So anyway, France cedes all this land to Britain.
You piece
Spain
of shit.
does it too.
We're doing a podcast. He's just eating the fucking sandwich.
The British created the colony of West Florida out of the French and Spanish cessions. In 1783, Great Britain returned East Florida and transferred West Florida to Spain, who ruled both provinces as separate and apart from Louisiana. In 1800, Under duress from Napoleon of France, Spain agreed to restore Louisiana and the island of New Orleans to France, who in conversation had promised to return them to Spain should France ever relinquish them.
Yeah.
So
Well,
there's a promise on there's a takes backsies promise on top of a promise to relinquish something.
What year was that?
This was in this is in 1800.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, Napoleon's just got a gun to Spain's head. His brother might be king of Spain at that point.
Yeah.
Because at one point, Napoleon conquered Spain and was just like, my brother's king here now. My French brother, who doesn't speak your language.
Yeah.
Nepotism.
Basically, like,
Sad.
everyone in French Louisiana was like, yeah, when all this shit dies down, we can give this. Basically, everyone's just kind of punting around Florida. And, like, no one wants to start a war over it. Because it's like, this.
And why would you?
This, Mobile, Alabama? We want to go to war over Baton Rouge? Okay. So, anyway, on the 15th of October in 1802, Charles IV issued a royal bill that made effective the transfer of Louisiana to France with the same extent that it currently has, that it had under the power of France when she ceded it to my royal crown. So it's, again, being punted back to France from Spain.
If you've ever been in New Orleans, specifically the French Quarter, you see they have the street names in both French and Spanish, even though the Spanish were barely there.
But they were there. They were
They
there,
were-
too. Like,
Everyone was there,
everyone was there, but the
but
French pretty much.
it was just like this dog shit handoff.
It happened multiple times.
And by the way, French Louisiana, blah blah, that includes St. Louis. So if you go to the best way to
There it is. Shoehorn that
is
in.
it's everybody's city.
I also just want it known on the record. I haven't eaten at all today.
Well,
At all.
that sounds like it's on you.
Dude, it smells so good.
I had a cup of coffee.
You look great though.
Why didn't you eat? Yeah, you look svelte.
Yeah, you look hot.
Thanks.
Got a little tan going?
Yeah, pop that shirt off. What do you even do with that shirt on?
2 year, baby. Oh, you flexed your pecs as soon as he said take the shirt off.
I ate a little too much pizza this weekend. I can't take the shirt off.
Dude, I had some pizza as well. It was delicious. Okay. So,
Wait,
Fran-
no, what I want to say though,
yeah.
with the St. Louis thing, when we learned about like St. Louis history specifically, which was not like it's not like Texas where like they're here in this fucking state, like in grade school, you have a whole, like you have certain years like this year, 4th grade, 5th grade, whatever, it's American history. 6th grade, it's world history, blah, blah, blah. There's a whole year in elementary school or middle school, whatever here, where you have Texas history as your history specialty that year,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
which is stupid as shit. So we didn't have that for St. Louis, but we did have a little bit on St. Louis history in social studies or whatever. And it was literally like we were under Spain's rule for like a month or something, and it was never enforced. You know what I mean? It was like a rubber stamping.
Yeah, I think people need to, like, realize, too, it's like no one really cared. They wanted to say they owned it. It's a colony. Like, they're not too concerned about, like,
And also, for the
St.
amount of
Louis.
time they owned it and shit, they weren't making money on it.
no. It was
was-
just
it was
land grabs for land grabs.
Pure clout. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, we own that. Cool. It's like for a lot of these people, it's probably like buying real estate on the moon. They're like, yeah, we got a quarter of the moon.
Well, Jake, if you knew anybody at NASA, they would tell you you can't actually own the moon. You can only be a custodian of the moon.
that's dumb. You can own the moon.
Former girl I dated, her grandfather was a big part of NASA, and they had a piece of rock from the moon, but they're technically not owners. They're custodians.
Well, my grandfather was also a part of NASA. Launched a few rockets up there.
This is stolen valor. His grandfather mopped the floors of NASA.
No, he did not. You tell that man that. See how
Yeah,
that
this man
goes.
was in charge of cleanup of space from all of our shit in the 60s.
Wait, this guy was the one you were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, you can own the moon. You just got to bring guns to the moon.
It's a real come and take it situation.
Yeah.
Like,
Moon's-
oh yeah, hey, you don't own that, but like you're up on the moon saying you own it.
Yeah.
Nobody
So-
wants it, though.
So like, who's gonna come?
I
and
feel
take
like you
it?
got to just wait that person out. It's like, all right, defend it.
Yeah, I guess you can have it for now. Yeah.
You got to come down at some point. Anyway, when France then sold the Louisiana Territory to the United States in 1803, when President Thomas Jefferson purchased the Louisiana Territory from France, a dispute. Go ahead.
Just want to know, for about $200 million less in current day dollars than Mike Trout's contract.
It was so cheap.
It was so cheap.
That
How much
really-
did we offer to buy Greenland?
Not that much. Certainly for what would be a bargain in 100 years.
I think we should still do
When
it.
did we?
we should. We should.
We should buy Greenland.
How
Trump
much
was right.
did
There's one thing
US?
Trump was right about was buying Greenland.
If Trump had bought Greenland,
we offered $1 billion for it? 100 million.
that's a bargain.
Yeah, $1 billion. That's easy money. We piss that. We piss $1 billion. That was it was the equivalent of $1 billion today in 1946. It was $100 million. at the
Oh,
time.
what Trump? I don't know what Trump offered.
Did Trump-
He kind of just jokingly floated it. Regardless, though,
gotta make an offer.
Even if it was $10 billion, worth it.
What was the art of the deal? So
Yeah, true.
probably lowballed him.
He should have. He's like, give you $100 million.
Yeah, I don't see
An exact price.
an exact price. I don't think Trump just said he wanted to buy it. I don't think he ever threw a number out there. So, it wasn't real. He would never have bought Greenland. If he was serious, he would have thrown a number out.
That would have. I would have been fully on board with the Trump presidency if we had bought Greenland.
It's kind of cool if we would have got
It's kind of
Greenland.
where I draw my line in the sand.
It's the opposite.
Yeah, you know.
Joe Biden, what'd you annex today?
Let's
Nothing.
go back to it. Let's take some land.
I agree. We
Yeah.
tried to. We tried to have Iceland, Alaska, which we got, Hawaii, which we got, and Cuba. Those were the 4 things we wanted to help us.
Man, Iceland would have been so sick.
I fucking
We also
know, right?
just gave away the Philippines, right?
It was kind of a mess.
Yeah.
We didn't really want it.
Just kind of wiped our hands clean as the Philippines.
You can have it. Nah, that's another episode completely, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Anyway,
Is that more fruit industry mayhem?
I think there's a lot of mayhem with the
Just in
Philippines.
general, yeah, just not fruit companies.
I don't even know, to be honest with you. I mean, there's some like, I think it's like Spanish, but it's also another thing. I don't know.
It's complicated.
It'd be complicated, Dan. Anyway,
There's a bizarre, like, Islamic part of it, too.
yeah, there's a lot of major
Philippines
religions.
make no
Like,
sense.
Al-Qaeda is, like, huge in the Philippines or some shit like that.
Is it
or
really?
ISIS. One of those two, yeah.
Great. Yeah. Do you want that? Do you want the ISIS island, Dan?
I think they just said gay sex is okay.
Yeah, it's a real melting pot in all the wrong ways.
Yeah, I just know that Duterte was throwing people out of helicopters and
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
It's not ideal.
yeah, the whole drug war was like, oh, let's just like murder people in the streets and prove a point. Anyway, when we made the Louisiana Purchase in 1803, because of all this bullshit that happened before, basically, yeah, there was a problem. No one knew what to do with West Florida. So the United States laid claim to the region of West Florida between the Mississippi and the Perdido Rivers, asserting it had been part of French Louisiana. Spain held that such a claim was baseless and maintained that it did not include the area known as West Florida, which stretched, again, across between those 2 rivers.
Spain in 1803, by the way, which is, I think, about to be overthrown by Napoleon or already essentially like its own it's either about to be overthrown by Napoleon or it has Napoleon's puppet brother king, and this is like the Spanish king in exile fighting the guerrilla war being like, no, we own Florida. Like they can fucking do anything about it.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is, call it 30 years after they helped us get independence.
Yeah. No, we own that now.
Not
We
even
bought it.
30 years?
We bought that.
Yeah.
We bought that. You guys don't have any room to talk. We bought that. So basically, there's so many claims that go back and forth, and it's so complicated that people avoid even like kind of trying to bring that part up. But again, like I said, at this point, fuck you. I had to read all of that.
Yeah.
So that's why I went through it. And
Fair
it
enough.
kind of explains why it's so muddy. No one really knows who owns it because there's a secret deal with Spain for France to cede all that shit back to them anyway. But it's a secret deal. It's like a silent commit.
Right.
Doesn't count.
And who's Spain?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with France at that point.
Who
where
is
it's like,
France? Yeah.
Who the fuck is France? Like there's a government in exile. There's this republic that then decides they're a fucking even more absolute monarchy all of a sudden.
It could very well be that we bought the Louisiana Purchase from a guy named Frank.
Right.
And we were just, I guess we own this.
For anyone that thinks American politics is a mess right now,
Just look at this.
not even the American side of it, just Europe. fucking nightmare.
Dude. Yeah, it was just like, I mean, look at the Holy Roman Empire. Like,
I think there was like a 30-year span where France had like 3 different systems of government, and then just went back to monarchy. That's how the most glorious people's revolution ever ended, in a literal monarchy. To be fair, Napoleon's dope.
Napoleon was pretty cool.
I would let him be my leader, no question.
He was really good at it.
He was good at it, and he was
Until he wasn't.
No, I think he was always good at it. He just invaded Russia.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Or maybe you do. Maybe you do and you win.
Work for the Japanese.
Kind of. I mean, that one
They
strip.
just put the tip in. They just went tip in.
Russia had its tip in Japan, I think, and
Yeah, it was a little bit of A, a little bit of B.
they were kind of docking each other.
Yeah.
On that strait,
It's an accurate way to put that.
and they were both like,
Napoleon was
"You're
trying
a
to
little
go
too
balls
far
deep.
docked in there."
Yeah,
But
Napoleon went balls deep.
anyway, the important thing here is that there was an influx of Americans in the region of West Florida in the early years of the 19th century. Some of these were loyalists fleeing the United States after the whole, revolution. But for the most part, it was just Americans seeking that what most Americans wanted at the time, which was land. People just wanted to grab up as much land as possible.
Yeah.
So there were a bunch of fucking colonists, British colonists, that were like, I'm going to go there. There's a bunch of shit there, and it's on the ocean.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't America's, but who cares? Neither was Texas.
But it
We
was
just kind of kept we were a little bit of an invasive species. And people, by the way, as much as you want to talk shit on Americans,
We are the Florida python.
we're the original pythons.
Well, Florida has a big part of that. There's a big Florida kind of stokes that to an even greater degree.
What, Floridians?
Well, West Florida, people in West Florida.
Okay.
West Florida is basically like the template for all expansion post the Louisiana Purchase.
Okay. So all Jacksonian expansion on all
Manifest
Destiny is
Basically starts because of Florida.
okay.
Because of Panama City.
Because
And I get it, guys.
Take me down to the Paradise City.
where the girls are underage and the drugs are shitty.
Oh, won't you please? Yeah.
Pretty accurate for PCP.
Well, they don't even have spring break anymore.
No, they got rid of that. They
What are they going to do with all their bars that hold like 100,000 people?
you know what? Who cares?
It's just like
Who
eight,
fucking
it's
oh
just like 8 sad old women.
Cactus Jacks or what Panama Jacks or whatever it was isn't open anymore. Oh no.
Just like one leathered 60-year-old man ODs on the worst cocaine you've ever seen.
Listen, you buy a wristband, gets into all 20 bars.
Or they look at your very legitimate ID and tell you it's fake.
They're fine with it, though.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck.
No.
It's fake. That's easier than saying at capacity. Can't let anyone in. It's fake.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, this plus the imprecise nature of international boundaries led to an escalating series of military engagements between the United States on the one hand and Britain and Spain on the other hand in West Florida. So, for its part, the United States believed West Florida was its own, but rather than risk confrontation and war, Jefferson and his successor James Madison allowed Spain to administer it until an opportunity arose.
Now, what opportunity was that?
Do you know?
It's either the War of 1812 or Napoleon's brother becoming king of Spain, and Spain being completely impotent.
You're wrong, bitch.
I'm wrong? All right.
I mean, it might be the former if that happened before 1812.
I think his brother was king before that.
Okay.
But go. I don't know.
So things were essentially peaceful until 1808, when Spain appointed a Colonel Charles de Losses, as governor of West Florida.
Okay.
The inefficiency and corruption of officials under him threatened the prosperity of American colonists in West Florida, basically. And people started to get pissed off. So I think it might be due to what you talked about a second ago. Basically, no one could reel this guy in, this governor of West Florida. He was just kind of giving kickbacks to his boys. All people that were there trying to farm and like do commerce and things like that were just like, yo, what the fuck? They're like competing on our shit. And so basically, they presented demands to him for political reform. And he was like, sure. He said, you got it.
Yeah.
Sure thing.
Oh, wow.
I'll do that. And then he said all that, he conspired against literally everyone that brought anything to him. And he was like, we're going to stamp these fuckers out.
Hell yeah.
We're going to murder them all. So
Probably what Mexico should have done in Texas, because this is exactly what happened in Texas.
we will get to that. Yeah, so everything ultimately came to a head in 1810. Secret meetings conspired against Spanish authorities. 3 conventions for an independent republic were held in the open, so it wasn't even secret anymore.
Yeah.
3 different conventions happened. One was for a completely independent Western Florida. So they wanted to be independent of the United
Their
States.
own country.
Yeah. Then there was a convention for people that wanted to be a part of the U.S. And then there was a convention for people, I think, that just wanted it to be either part of like Spanish Eastern Florida
Okay.
or I can't remember if it was Spanish Eastern Florida or if they just wanted to be British.
These real middle of the road centrists.
Super centrist. Like they were
Can't
people,
make up their minds.
they were just like, we don't want to be independent, but we don't want to be fucking American either. Like we kind of want it to status quo it.
Let's do something fun.
Yeah. So basically, all that's coming to a head. They're having the secret conventions. Eventually, independence in 1810 was declared, and a capital organized at St. Francisville in West Florida. Basically, in the pre-dawn fog of September 23rd, 1810, about 50 men walked into an open gate of Fort San Carlos in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. An additional 25 men on horseback rode through a gap in the fort's wall. And basically, no one saw this coming. They didn't expect any of this to happen.
Sure.
And it was over within about, like, a couple people fired shots. The American colonists returned the fire, killed a couple Spaniards.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone just kind of put down their guns, and they were like, what's happening?
What? Yeah.
What is happening right now? And in the most American way possible, they just got up on top of the fucking fort and threw down a flag. And they were like,
yeah.
this is West Florida, baby. And it was. That's how it became the colony of West Florida.
By the way, people don't understand how
Or the Republic of West Florida, I should say.
bitch-ass battles were in the Western Hemisphere until basically the U.S. Civil War. We were fighting like teeny tiny little battles.
This happened in 5 minutes.
Yeah, but it was like 100 people.
Oh, yeah. And, like, no one knew what was going on. Everyone was like, is this even allowed? We don't know.
But even like the Revolutionary War, stuff like that, all the wars, and this is an episode I want to do eventually, but like all the wars you read about prior to the U.S. Civil War, and even in a lot of ways the U.S. Civil War.
It was essentially a game of capture the flag.
Yeah, I mean, these were tiny little engagements compared to like anything the Chinese did. But even in Europe, you know what I mean? Like Waterloo and all the like the Crimean War, all types of stuff. I mean, like wild, giant anything in Russia, giant engagements, massive engagement. In the U.S., it's like, oh my God, there were 20,000 men on the battlefield, hundreds died. Like it's just, or in this more likely case with like smaller colonial engagements, it's like, yeah,
There were 75 dudes.
75 guys showed up and they
2 died.
made their own country.
I mean, our first episode was about William Walker taking like a group of 50 men and
That were-
conquering
that
Baja
were
California.
bored.
didn't take a lot.
Bored guys.
And then Nicaragua or whatever the fuck. Like he conquered multiple countries with a group smaller than a fraternity, a group smaller than an NFL roster.
Yeah, because he was bored. They were bored. They wanted to, like, get some land for the fucking states. And the people that lived there were like, sure?
Like, what?
Do you want this that bad?
What are you doing?
Yeah. All right, bro.
Okay.
Just wiping their hand. They're like, yeah, no, we're good. You can have it.
Yeah, it's sick. Cool, man.
Whatever.
You're the president. But that's basically what happened here. So they captured Fort San Carlos, and they rolled out. They took down the Spanish flag, and they rolled out their own flag. And it was a white star, 5-pointed star, on a blue field banner. So one white star, blue banner on the back. The Republic of West Florida was reality. It was the Lone Star Republic.
Oh, wow.
And that's representative of the recruits that West Florida gets today.
1 star. Mm-hmm. It's pretty good, Dan. D2 Powerhouse, West Florida, you mean? The was it Argonauts?
I have no idea.
I believe
That's a
they're the
good name.
Argonauts. They have a great football stadium that is on the ocean in
That's
Pensacola.
good sell for a D2 school.
Yeah. It's like, dude, you can play football and see the ocean because you don't
Yeah.
want to see the scoreboard.
Leave the fucking locker room, go to the beach.
Yeah. But again, does that sound familiar to you? A white star on a blue field, Lone Star Republic?
I've heard it.
Yeah, maybe
Heard it.
once.
Do we live in it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, Texas, your fucking unique bullshit history, just stolen IP.
I live here, and I like the state, but I really hate their.
Obsession with themselves.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's the
Tennessee's the reason you're a state.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the only state that does this. Like, you don't see people like, okay, if I opened up if I'm from Massachusetts and I opened up a fast food restaurant and I was like, they're real Massachusetts burgers, people would be like, the fuck is that?
Yeah.
They wouldn't be like, oh, hell yeah, Massachusetts burger.
Eh, fuck is that?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Right. No,
And a single fucking cow in the state.
but it's like Church's Chicken down the street.
Right.
They are Church's Texas Chicken now.
Right.
I'm sure sales have gone up.
Real Texas
Dude, they try to own Dairy Queen.
It's from Illinois.
I remember breaking that to Christina and being like, wait, Dairy Queen's not just like a Texas thing? Like, it's not just Texas people obsessed with Dairy Queen? And I was like, the whole fucking country takes their dumbass kids
To Dairy Queen.
fucking
To
get
get a
Dairy
Blizzard.
Queen after a soccer game or some bullshit.
DQ. That's what I like about Texas.
Yes,
Founded in Ohio. Founded in Ohio.
Oh, I thought it was Illinois. I knew it was Midwestern.
Well, it's one of those two. And it doesn't matter because they just knew at some point some marketing genius was like, and I mean that, genius, was like, you know what? If you just tell these morons that it's Texas, they'll eat it up.
They will.
Literally.
That's what
in our case.
I don't even know if Church's Chicken is from Texas.
Don't even look it up. You know who probably came up with that? That fucking Bernays fella. The guy that did the Freedom Torch campaign.
Church's is from San Antonio.
I don't give a shit.
But it's amazing to me that it took them this long to brand it Church's Texas Chicken. Because
Hey, it's like a fucking 5th tier fried chicken place.
it's all right.
It's fine. It's not as good as obviously Popeyes,
Popeyes.
KFC. I even put Lee's chicken above Church's.
Lee's Chicken is above a lot of chickens.
What about Zaxby's?
Fuck Zaxby's. Do they even do bone-in?
No, but
I don't think
Tendies.
we do.
No, I don't. Tendies
Great
places,
fried
get the
pickles,
fuck
though.
out of here.
Great fried
Tendies
pickles.
places, that's a different
All
story.
right, Zaxby's
Oh,
is fine.
yeah. I mean, the way people go off about Raising Cane's like it's some sort of like,
Raising Cane's is dog shit.
it's fine. It's chicken tenders. It's a limited menu, so they don't have
Compared
to
to
spend
its
money.
reputation, it's dog shit.
I don't. Yeah, that's the thing I never got. People were freaking out when we got Raising Cane's here. I was like, oh man, what's the deal? And they're like, it has no options.
Here's the thing about regional food. We, no matter where you're from in the country, you glorify whatever you have.
Yes.
I mean, I went back and had like, Imperial Pizza, which is, right by my house. It's what I grew up on. And it's just like, no, it's fine.
It's pizza.
It's
You
fine.
know, like your cheesesteak?
Cheesesteak's pretty simple to make. I don't know why we think, it's the water down there.
So woulda.
It's the water in Philly. Makes the bread better.
It's funny, like whenever there's a pizza place in town here that flies their fucking water in from New York, you know what they do? They don't
Lie.
serve better pizza. They go out of business.
No, they lie.
Yeah, or they're lying.
They lie, yeah.
They're either lying or they're going out of business from the shipping costs of shipping fucking water here.
That's
We-
a psychopath.
We like
Yeah.
what we grew up on, and it doesn't matter what the quality actually is.
Anyway,
Familiarity.
yeah. So all I'm saying is that Texas ripped everything off from everyone else.
That's fine. I believe that. They ripped off their origin story from Florida or West Florida or both.
They kind of
It's
just
essentially like a bunch of Americans moved into land that was owned by a different country or no country or Native Americans or one of the three. And we're like, eventually like, America, make us part of you now.
yeah. No, that's it.
They
You're
did that
absolutely
with
right.
Florida first, then Texas, then the Dakotas.
Hold on. You're ruining the episode.
Okay.
So anyway, some newspaper editor was like, yeah, it's the Little Mimic Revolution in Louisiana, the West Florida Revolution. But
What, they just thought it was a bunch of dumb rednecks?
yeah, they were
Were
like,
they wrong?
yeah, no. Some guy in the news was like, fucking this shit. I guess we should be proud of them. But President Madison knew that the strategy of passive expansionism had evicted Spain at no expense to the United States.
Well, it's more like passive-aggressive expansionism.
yeah, it's passive aggressive, but
Right.
the U.S. had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, they're like, oh, yeah, you guys can move there if you want. Oh, no, well.
Well, they didn't have to work to get the Spanish to lay down their guns. A bunch of rednecks did it for them.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's genius.
James Madison saw
Why
this.
did we stop William Walker from doing it? Like only 30, 40 years later?
I think that was
didn't.
because
It was the British Navy.
No, with Baja, California. Why weren't we just like, okay.
I don't think it was the U.S. that intervened, really.
wasn't one of the issues that like it would have made like another slave state or something.
Yeah, he was trying to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, but like they were probably like the balance would have been off.
They didn't need that smoke. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, James Madison saw this as the opportunity, basically, that he had been waiting for since 1803. He could annex the district, securing territory for the United States that it had its eyes on for years, without doing a lot. So technically, Madison was not authorized to use American military forces in the region without congressional approval, so he didn't have to do that. What's more, Congress was not in session to provide such an approval for expansion. But Madison just was like, well, fuck it. It's already done. Like,
Right.
let's just go for it.
Might as well take it. I mean,
Yeah.
guys, they're there.
And while there were fucking complaints from Congress about it, none of them amounted to much because they were like, all right, it's ours now.
Can I do an impression of those complaints?
Yeah,
Stop it. No, don't.
that's wrong.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
No, I hate it.
Yeah. So on October 27,
Okay, fine.
1810, President Madison stated that possession should be taken and dispatched Orleans Territory Governor William C.C. Claiborne to do so.
He was on a real heater before the British rolled in.
Madison?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's doing all right
Yeah.
until that whole war, that pesky war of 1812.
That we won.
We tied. At best.
We got rocked.
At best, we tied.
That's why we don't have Canada. All right.
We held serve.
No. They burned
serve.
our capital to
Held
the
serve.
ground.
Look, they broke us and we broke back.
I mean, to be fair,
What did we do?
what is burning a capital that's kind of made up anyway?
Look, in the Revolution, the British captured our capital like fucking 8 times, and we were just like, "Capital's here now."
yeah, you can move the capital. That's the best part about capitals.
I mean, we did.
Yeah, you move them a lot.
Kept doing it.
Yeah, that's gotta be so annoying. It's like, no,
The capital's whatever you want.
no,
it to be.
it's we have it. It's like, no, it's over here now.
Yeah, but then we were really like firm on a swamp for some reason.
Yeah, right. You think we could do better real estate?
No, come on. Where are you gonna build all your satanic Masonic symbolism?
That's true.
You need all your weird phallic shaped buildings on
Yeah.
the swamp.
And also, it was like, it's just a good area to build a capital because we had so many just bones of sacrificed children.
Yeah,
You know, layering the swamp as a sort of base.
yeah. It's actually a
That's
very
good
sturdy
foundation,
foundation.
actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
A sort of underwater pyramid of child bones.
Anyway, the capital of St. Francisville surrendered to the United States Army on December 6th. Old Baton Rouge fell 4 days later. So actually, West Florida was putting up a little bit of a fight.
So Baton Rouge wasn't part of the Louisiana Purchase?
West Florida kind of claimed it.
Okay.
So you're welcome, Louisiana, I
Wow,
guess.
we got Red Stick.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. Old Red Stick. Yeah, but West Florida was like, for about 2 months, they were an independent republic, and James Madison's like, yeah, we're going to have none of that.
We're going to take it.
Yeah, because, you know, you might be able to fight off the Spanish because they don't know what they're doing, but we have people now.
I mean, the Spanish didn't have anyone to send. It's a miracle the fucking English were able to fight us in the War of 1812. That was at the height of what at the time was the most important war maybe in human history. And they were like, oh, God, we got to bleed off some to go deal with these assholes.
Yeah,
And
but it's not like we really had anything going with our military.
we could defend okay, but navally there was nothing. Yeah, for sure. And that's, I guess we basically
Yeah.
tried to take Canada because we were like, Napoleon's fucking with them.
They sent
do it.
over like 5 boats.
And that was enough.
Yeah.
Got us to shut up a little.
Yeah, the U.S. Navy's history, it's not
Why don't we take Canada now?
not super
We got a
storied.
much better Navy now.
Well, our best navy, other than the French in the Revolutionary War, were pirates.
Why don't we just take all of it?
Just take everything.
Yeah, that works. Just nonstop expansion never
We're-
leads to crumbling.
We're really
from
a
within.
country that was built on mercenaries.
I mean, what country wasn't?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was I don't know. There was a lot of guys that just, weren't in it for the love of a independent nation.
Of America.
Yeah.
You didn't think they were, so your take is people weren't patriotic enough during the Revolutionary War.
No. The real winners, guns for hire.
The Hessians?
Yeah.
Or we're no better than the Hessians.
But like the John Paul Jones of the world.
Yeah. Who then went to fuck the Queen of Russia or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to that episode.
There were no patriots in the Revolutionary War. Dan
Zero.
Rogester.
What's cool about this podcast is I learn a lot in like a week and then I just forget it.
Yeah. It's fun that way.
Yeah.
Then you get to remember the one weird thing you do remember, and someone is talking to
And then
you
you
at a party.
butcher your own stuff.
Yeah. And then someone's talking to you at a party, and you're like, "Oh, actually, this," and they're like, "Oh, really? What else about that?" And you're like, "Go
Fuck.
listen."
Let me
Yeah,
let me
no.
let me look
Oh,
at my
listen.
notes.
Fucking
Yeah.
Let me pull up my fucking Google Docs.
Yeah, from 9 weeks ago.
Well, I mean, you have a phone and it's really easy to search. You could pull it up like.
Well, you
within
could.
seconds.
I actually
what's the
delete all
fun in
my
that?
episodes.
Do you really?
Yeah, I don't keep the
bizarre.
research.
Wipe the slate clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use the same doc.
It's
every
like
single
cramming
time.
for an exam in college.
Yeah.
I just do a bunch of Adderall.
You only need to know.
I remember
once.
everything for 48 hours and then it's gone.
But I do want you to live forever with the fact that you don't think there were enough patriots during the Revolutionary War.
There's just a lot of self-interest, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cui bono.
Who benefits from this revolution?
They do. Individually.
Yeah, it's a bunch of dudes that don't want to pay their taxes.
Yeah,
Heard that
they're
story
real
before.
Heroes fight wars that actively hurt them.
Yeah.
The
Anyway.
only man I trust is a Ukrainian fighting for the Russians right now, actually. Just some guy went over to the other side.
It's like, you know what? You're right.
You can trust that guy.
You can.
On December 10th, 1810, the Republic
Cash
of
rolls
West
everything around me.
Cream. The Republic of West Florida's Lone Star came down, and the Stars and Stripes took its place. For the first time ever in the United States history, it had acquired significant territory from another sovereignty without war or compensation. While revolutions come in all shapes and sizes, the West Florida Rebellion might be the shortest, yet most important in the history of the United States. And essentially, what was less than 1 minute, it was over. But it set in motion a chain of events that would transform the United States into a continental and eventually world power.
So this was our first foray into, let's just take it.
We already got folks there.
Because we bought French Louisiana.
Yeah. And we thought we kind of owned that spot anyway. But enough people were like, fuck this, that
Yeah.
we're Americans, that we were just like, well, they're already there.
Right.
We might as well.
It's like the batteries are included.
Yeah. The batteries being the rednecks
Of being Baton Rouge.
And we already owned everything
around it.
up to the Mississippi.
Yeah. And then,
So original America, there's like the 13 colonies or whatever, but it was actually from the Atlantic coast, I think, more or less to the Mississippi, minus Florida and
yeah, well,
West Florida,
basically
Louisiana.
that stretch between the Mississippi River and the Perdido River.
Yeah.
And obviously Florida, East Florida. Again, I kind of like in my head just wish Florida had a really long panhandle that wrapped all the way down to what is it? What South Padre?
Brownsville?
South Padre Island.
Padre,
Yeah,
Brownsville.
just long Florida.
Brownsville is, I think, the last stop. Like
Yeah.
in the little, that's where Elon's building his
Yeah.
fucking, that's where he lives in a trailer and is building his little rocket place. Because it's actually equilaterally, latitude-wise, like level with Cape Canaveral.
Oh, so it's a good like angle of attack for launch, basically.
I guess so, yeah.
Interesting.
Well, Rob, actually, bringing a business to a glorified trailer park is bad.
I agree.
Why?
It's just bad.
Just leave it alone.
Stop gentrifying.
Gentrifying
Brownsville.
Brownsville?
Let it be.
It was better off.
You ever been?
I
They got wiped by Harvey. Like,
There's nothing there. Anyway, I've been to South Padre once, and it was just like sick. I accidentally made a wrong turn and was in Brownsville.
funniest thing I heard about anyone at South Padre was, or anything about South Padre is that it's not as much of a problem anymore. But back in the day,
I'm a
like,
big fan of a beach with snakes on it.
is that a thing?
I never saw any snakes.
Well, the bigger problem was, so obviously college kids go there for spring break and stuff like that. Back in the day, like 2000 to 2010, 2012, something like that, I talked to a girl who was a Zeta here who told me this. She was like, yeah, you couldn't wear Zeta gear
Oh, because the cartel?
because, yeah, los Zetas.
You get clipped.
Literally, yes. That's like the Zetas were a fucking Mexican cartel. And it was like, don't wear things that say Zeta
You probably still can't wear it.
on South Padre Island.
I mean, they're getting
And it's like all
more
those-
and more aggressive now. They got drones. They'll take your ass out.
The cartels do?
Yeah, the cartels
Is it
are.
like in the Ukraine-Russia war where it's like they'll drop a little grenade off a drone and blow your shit up?
Yes.
It's not like a fucking death drone. Like a,
That is a death drone.
well, I mean, it is. It's a, you know what I mean?
I don't. Like a kamikaze drone?
Like, you know, the fucking ones that we have that like
Oh,
shoot
yeah,
missiles.
yeah,
The
out.
cartels are very well funded. I'm sure
Yeah,
they can
drugs.
they can get their hands on a predator drone.
Sure, probably. Why not?
Yeah, we give them to
Someone's stolen.
we give them to fucking Saudi Arabia and Yemen and shit. Why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah. Hey, why not? Why not take a crazy chance?
Why
Just
not
make one do a crazy dance.
do a crazy dance.
And we might be talking about the cartel this Wednesday on our Patreon.
Ooh, fun.
Patreon.com/softcorehistory.
Anyway, the reason that this is important, this whole West Florida thing, is because many historians believe that this is the template for Manifest Destiny and would lead us to grabbing a lot of land from Mexico.
This raised the first eyebrow.
Yeah.
It was like, hey,
Basically, it set up the template of
Hey.
people settle an area ruled by somewhere else or questionably ruled by somewhere else. All those people set up shop, get pissed about the governance, revolt, make a fuss, and then ask the U.S. to swoop in and take over.
right. So what happens is, all your people show up, and they're like, oh no, we're just moving here. Yeah, I mean we were born there, but we're moving here. You're in charge. That's fine. It's your land. We just want to have a farm. Don't worry about us. And
Yeah.
then more of them move there. And then eventually they're like, we don't like you.
We're the immigrants that everyone in current politics is terrified of.
Yes.
like if you let
awesome.
too many of them in,
Yeah.
they're gonna take it over.
Yeah.
But that's the only people that have done it on this continent are us. It's us.
Well,
It's for the worst offenders of it.
yeah, we're pretty bad about it.
Yeah.
I mean, the Canadians, I assume, did it too.
Oh, sure.
And also probably the Spanish in Mexico. Although Spanish had a lighter touch.
Yeah, I guess.
Not a lighter touch, I guess. But
Yeah.
there were less of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, this sets up for 1835 to 1836. Texas rose in revolt against Mexico, fighting under West Florida's Lone Star flag.
Yeah.
They rolled that Lone Star flag out.
Woo!
Yeah. And voluntarily submitting to U.S. annexation in 1845. That flag that was so righteously ripped from West Florida's history
So
is the basis of the left-hand side of our flag.
right. So Texas is stealing all its valor from Florida.
Yes.
Man, you gotta when Abbott and DeSantis run against each other,
Someone's got to pull that punch.
DeSantis has got to drop that bomb.
It's that, and then like I think it's called like the Fernandino flag. It's a combination of the Texas flag is a combination of two flags.
Okay.
It's that Lone Star flag that West Florida flew, which also was, believe it or not, the basis for the blue Bonnie. What is it? The Bonnie blue flag or whatever.
Okay.
The one that was the big one for secessionists during the American Civil War.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, so even that shit got ripped from Florida.
Sure.
We owned that shit. Anyway,
You really, man, I mean, Florida had the first city
yeah, St.
in
Augustine.
North America.
Mm-hmm.
The first fucking manifest destiny
Yeah,
for America.
Found
Yeah.
youth.
Found a youth. The first bullshit rebel flag.
yeah, exactly. We
They're
had
in
it
the
all,
SEC
baby.
before Texas.
Yeah,
There was SEC before Texas.
Florida's a founding member. Anyway, and LSU. Before Louisiana, too. Actually, yeah, Louisiana, you're welcome for Florida. Making sure you didn't stay some weird Spanish hybrid.
Spanish, French, weirdo hybrid.
Yeah.
It always really did irk me it always does irk me when I'm in the French Quarter and I see the Spanish and French names. Because again, I'm like, they were barely here. I mean, there were Spanish people here the whole time, but like, this is a French colony. Like, fuck off with that Spanish bullshit.
Are you saying they're the Terrell Davis of countries? Just had a real good 3-year run.
Pretty much, yeah. The Spanish are the Terrell Davis of New Orleans occupiers.
Elway doesn't have a Super Bowl without Terrell Davis.
He sure doesn't, let alone 2.
Similar stuff happens in Sonoma. A small band of American and Mexican settlers declared the California Republic was their own.
Mm-hmm.
The subsequent revolt against local authorities lasted 26 days before the U.S. took over. In the ensuing war with Mexico, the United States acquired all of California and most or all of Colorado, Nevada, New Mexico, Arizona, Wyoming, Utah, and Oklahoma. And if it weren't for pesky old West Florida, we wouldn't have just conquered the entire swath of land that we own today.
So essentially, West Florida, we were just like, whoa,
We could do that with
we
this.
could do this?
If we could do that,
That's pretty
Yeah.
smart.
we could do it with all of it.
But then we decided to take Oklahoma.
Well, for what it's worth, that is actually just where we shoved all the Indians.
It wasn't a trail of fun.
Then, yeah, with nothing else left, there's a reason they were crying.
It wasn't the trail of cheers.
That's what the history books taught me.
Yeah, everyone was fun. It was like a fun parade to Oklahoma. That's how it worked.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's like people are like, I never learned about that. I only learned that everyone was happy and joyous.
Yeah.
Like, what? What dog shit?
Literally,
history book is that?
Oklahoma's entire state history is based on people cheating.
Yeah, Oklahoma has no state history class.
Yeah.
Not even because they don't want to teach it, like they don't think people should know. It's just like, it's just depressing.
They had
Like,
to
it's-
give the land away.
Yeah, that's what Sooner means.
Yeah, they jumped the cannon.
They're like, hey, we'll just give you a bunch of acres. Just please go.
Yeah,
But there was everyone had to wait to make claim on their land, and the Sooners were the people that cheated and got the good land early. And
oh, I thought the Sooners were just whoever got to the best land. They were there sooner.
They were there sooner. Yeah.
no, there were people. There was like
But they were there sooner because they jumped the gun.
they jumped
Well,
the gun.
they
Yeah,
used
Oh,
the
is that where
guns.
jump the gun comes from too?
And
It
Boomer
might-
Sooner.
and Boomer Sooner. Yeah,
Well, I know
there's-
Boomer Sooner comes from that.
yeah, I believe Oklahoma Sooners cheated.
Ugh,
On
Listen,
you know
if
what,
you're
that's
not
another
cheating, you're not
it's a
trying.
garbage state.
Yeah. Anyway, I did have one other fun, quick story about another place that I learned about weird sovereignty in America. If you want to hear it, it's just a fun extra.
Absolutely.
clip.
Nah, we'll pass.
Bah.
Yeah. So, have you heard of the Republic of Rough and Ready?
No, that sounds like
Is that West Virginia?
No, it's in California.
Sounds like a bar for a certain type of persuasion.
No, it just sounds like Barstool's boxing league.
Also, that yeah.
Yeah. So the story goes that in 1849, the town of Rough and Ready, California, was founded by miners from Wisconsin.
I already hate the name. So
Yeah.
they named it Rough and Ready.
Yeah, because they were miners. They were like, let's name it what we are, Rough and Ready for mining.
What? Sure. Yeah.
Uh,
God damn it.
A bunch of Wisconsinites.
Shit don't change, and that people are huge tools.
So they had come west hoping to get rich from the gold rush, but the next year they found out that the American government wanted to tax their gold, and they weren't happy about it.
So they pivoted to coal?
No, so in April,
They pivoted to rebellion.
independence. So in April 1850, 10 years before the first state would secede, the tiny town of Rough and Ready declared it was now a great republic. The miners elected a man named Colonel E.F. Brundage as their first president. He even drew up a constitution. They threatened to use force against the United States if they were not allowed to leave the country peacefully. Do you know how they became not independent again?
I don't know, one cavalry regiment shown up and murdered
Zero
them?
military involvement.
perfect, okay.
Yeah, no, because if it wasn't for this, they would have been wiped off the face of the earth.
Okay.
So during the year's 4th of July celebrations, the saloon owners in the nearby Nevada City, there's a Nevada City right next door.
Okay.
They were like, yeah, I guess there wasn't a bar in Rough and Ready. And they all came over there and they were like, we're not serving a bunch of fucking foreigners. It's like, get out of here, you fucking foreigner. They
I just
basically
want to declare my house a fucking independent country and then scream, you're a fucking foreigner at my, well, my neighbors are the ones that are Latino, so I can't do that. But to the white neighbors on the other side, I will scream at them for being foreigners.
Or just say you're the minority.
So, in Nevada City, they just called them all foreigners and wouldn't let them drink booze there. And they went back and were like, all right, wait a minute. We'll pay taxes. We don't want to be called foreigners no more. Like, that's too hard for us. So they rejoined the union a couple
fantastic.
months later.
So basically, they just,
They got bullied.
They got bullied into being back in the U.S.
oh my fucking God.
Yeah, I found that story when I was reading about it because I was like looking into like just weird republics that existed for hot minutes. But yeah, that's the story of West Florida, the West Florida Republic.
I think we learned that bullying is good.
Bullying is great.
It's necessary.
I mean, this was a whole episode about bullying and how it works.
Kind of.
And how if you're just mean, you get what you want.
If you take up space,
Yeah.
really, like if you just like get in someone's space, like if you're in a queue, for instance, or like a line or whatever,
Right.
just cut.
Or say you want something from someone, say their very essence. Just keep invading their personal space until you can have them themselves.
That's a little rapey.
Well, that's what America did to.
The continent. I mean, there is a it's insane that like they looked at that whole thing with like the pass between Perdido and Mississippi rivers and they were like, if we could do that here, what about this fucking hundreds of thousands of miles this way?
Right.
Or thousands and thousands of miles this way. We could do that over there too. There's not a lot of people watching that.
Like, all we got to do is just keep sending people.
It's like, oh man, they found some gold out there?
To be
Say
fair,
word?
I don't know what was going on in West Florida, but in a lot of the places that Americans went, like westward or whatever, call it like, I don't know, 1830 onward, there was a lot of like ways to get wealthy quick. Like it wasn't just it was like show up. Like there were reasons for the individuals to go.
Yeah, for
it wasn't
sure.
just
I
like
mean,
we were like
not
hey,
everyone was
go
looking for
there.
gold. Yeah,
Right,
like
right.
not everyone was looking for gold. A lot of people were just like, because people were already going there for gold. Hey, I'm gonna make blue jeans. Hey, I'm gonna make mining
Well,
tools.
or even just it's like the land is cheap or free, basically.
yeah, it's like, hey, I want to be alone.
Right.
Hey, I want to farm.
Right.
You know, like there's a lot of ways to, and then you are supporting the people that are also moving out there. It's a smaller economy. You have more chance to grow at. Versus, a ton of competition in the eastern side of the country. One of the funnier things I saw, too, when I was looking at this West Florida map, someone had drawn a hypothetical alt history, the Republic of Long Florida, where it goes even past Brownsville and wraps all the way around to the Yucatan Peninsula.
You're just the whole Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, it's just one
It's a
long
skinny.
Florida.
Build a
Yeah.
bridge.
And then from the Yucatan to the
Yep.
tip of Florida,
Yeah.
just a big circle Florida. I want Florida circle.
Just like a mostly water nation.
Yeah, essentially.
That'd be sick.
Kind of would be cool.
Man-made islands in
I've
between.
always wondered why we didn't take more of Mexico when we beat them in the war and had them completely bent over a barrel.
It's a good question. I mean,
Although there's a lot of, I guess, just kind of like,
Bad land.
yeah, shitty desert.
I'm sure the logistics of like, it's one thing to just go west
Yeah.
from like your current parallels, but then to expand southern
Yeah.
to you, that's really hard
probably
to.
harder to hold. And
Yeah, I mean, like look at expansionism; it doesn't always work. It doesn't usually work at all for the most part.
Yeah.
like a lot of times when you expand too far, you
we
outreach your
were-
coverage
pe-
basically.
People were constantly impressed with the United States. Like literally, like it's not even like people were just constantly like, "God damn, dude,
they've got all the way to the other
they just
ocean.
keep getting bigger.
Yeah,
How the fuck are they doing this?"
How do they keep getting away with this?
European wars requiring people to have money.
Right.
The Louisiana Purchase obviously kind of stemmed it. And then how were they able to do it? We just kind of kept throwing our fucking weirdos out.
Yeah,
And we're like, all right, seed it up.
going out there.
So, yeah, next time you talk about fucking weird Floridians, just remember California.
There is no country without Florida.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And more importantly, actually, no, hold on. We're not getting this right. Not Florida. America's entire identity today is essentially the product, not of Florida, but of the Florida Panhandle.
Great. Makes a lot of sense when you think about it.
kinda does.
Yeah. You're welcome.
I'm okay with it.
You ever
It makes me, it like settles my mind into ease, kind of.
You ever get really excited when I'm asking specifically liberals here? You ever get really excited when you start seeing the election results roll in Florida, and then an hour later when the other polls close in the Panhandle, you're like,
Here
"What
comes-
is happening?" That's
It's
Yeah.
like Miami reports early, and then like Tallahassee on West starts coming.
yeah. It's like Orlando, Tampa, Miami, all the fucking Eastern time zone people,
Yeah.
and then the Western time zone of
Here
Florida comes in.
comes-
Here comes the Panhandle.
Along with Jacksonville.
Yeah, it's like, what happened? It's like, yeah, that's the part we're talking about.
Yeah.
right there.
God bless it.
Just keeping it weird and purple. Anyway, what'd you guys learn?
Like I said, be the bully you want to see in the
Oh,
world.
right, we learned that. Okay,
I learned that this country makes a lot more sense now.
yeah.
That
I'm
this
glad I could-
country is essentially all a blueprint created by the Florida Panhandle.
Yeah.
This entire nation
A melting pot,
got its blueprint from the Panhandle people.
which again, Spanish, French, all the different countries, all the influences.
Two of them.
Spanish, French,
Vaguely different countries.
like barely not British Americans.
sort of
ruled
British.
by, ruled by at
And
worst
natives.
brothers and at best second cousins of each other.
And then I guess the next question is, who
So
said-
did Napoleon kind of low key create America?
He helped a lot. And he wanted to move here.
Yeah, he had a whole mansion. He had a whole place in New Orleans ready for him.
Napoleon House.
No, I
He
thought he
kinda-
was moving to Beverly Hills.
He kind of wanted to move here, I think, after he lost in Europe and, like, basically give his services to the U.S.
Did you just do a Bill and Ted joke in a
No,
weird way?
maybe. I don't know.
'Cause-
I've never seen Bill and Ted.
What?
Yeah,
Napoleon comes to California in Bill and Ted.
I've never seen Bill and
Yeah.
That's
Ted.
how they pass their presentation.
Yeah, you have a time machine.
You have a time machine. George Carlin gives it to you
Mm-hmm.
while you're playing riffs in your guitar.
It was more like
in
a
your
Saudi
garage.
prince in Beverly Hills thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, who's Hitler?
The French.
Are they?
Yeah.
You don't think it's the Spanish?
Nah, the French.
Here, I'll tell you who Hitler is. Who really fucked over everyone? You want to whine about the Panhandle or American Manifest Destiny? Here's the real Hitler. The European game.
The game.
The game.
The game.
The game is Hitler.
The game is Hitler. All these people were so balls deep in the game, and they were, by the way, they were so obsessed with the possession, you know, that half inning, whatever, that they couldn't see the bigger game. And so they let all this shit go away. $15 million for the Louisiana Purchase, this weird back and forth dealing of fucking whatever, West Florida. It's bad play. Hitler isn't the game. It's the bad players of the game.
Yeah. You know, it says a lot about Denmark that they never gave up Greenland. They're
Yeah.
like, you know what? We see what they're up to. Mm-hmm. We're keeping that.
Why get $15 million for Greenland in 1800 when you can get $15 billion for it?
Which is still nothing.
That's still nothing.
It's still nothing. They could be like,
Greenland could end up being, depending on, like, this isn't even a climate change thing in terms of, like, man-made climate change, but just in terms of, like, yes, Earth's climate always changes. That's
Yeah.
beyond dispute, regardless of who's doing it.
Yeah.
Like, depending on how climate changes and stuff like that, Greenland could
be nice.
extremely valuable land.
yeah. No, I mean, if you do think of it from like hey, the Russians would love to actually increase man-made climate change because
So
it
they
moves the
can
bread
Arctic-
and yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
the breadbasket and
moves
also
up, yeah.
Arctic routes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They were playing a game of Monopoly and fighting over Whitechapel Road and Old Kent Road. It's the two cheapest spaces.
What's the cheap space? What?
I didn't even know that.
What are you talking
I
about?
just looked it up. The two right next to Go, the two cheapest spaces.
Oh.
There's just so many variations of Monopoly, you just can't even keep up.
Oh, you're talking about like Baltic and shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. The light blue guys.
Isn't it purple?
Whatever. The cheap ones right after Go that you buy up in Slumlord and win the game with.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, what you do is you let people fight over it and sell it to each other, then they all go broke, and you just take it.
You flip the board.
Yeah. And it's yours.
Physically. You just quit.
Flip it over.
You rage quit.
Anyway, to all you great West Floridians out there, that's what we all are now.
Thank you for making America.
Yeah, thanks. Check out softcorehistory.com. We got great merch there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a T-shirt I need to put up that I forgot about.
Yeah, but I mean, we got some dope ass merch.
Yeah.
Freedom Torch shirts, of course. I like those.
Yeah, those are great.
Most
Mugs.
importantly,
Patreon.com
Patreon.
/softcore history. Plenty of extra content. Extra episode a week. Drops every Wednesday. Of course, leave a review, please and thank you, on both iTunes and Spotify. Spotify, you just have to click the 5 stars. iTunes, we'd appreciate if you left a review. That's how you climb the charts. That's how you manipulate that shit. So if you could do that if you haven't already. And, of course, tell a friend about the podcast. Word of mouth is how we grow.
And most importantly, thanks for giving us 2 great years. We hope to keep on going.
It's been a good run.
We've really enjoyed it. We're older than some countries, which I might talk about in another podcast episode soon.
It's one of the longest relationships I've been in.
Just countries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, obviously. Current countries, I don't think so, but maybe. I'll look. Anyway, for Rob Fox and Dan Register, I'm Jake Goldman.
You just got soft served.